Hi guys, this is T-Virus from the T-Virus 40k channel. This is my first video for the channel, and it is also the competition entry to Cheese Ninja Tabletop's 100 subscribers competition, where he was asking to see people's setup, their painting, their gaming, whatever. So this is my one. I've not been in the hobby a huge amount of time, at least not in a serious way, so I don't have a huge amount of stuff, but I think it's enough to get me started, producing some kit. So I do everything at my computer desk. I'll pull back a bit and you can see that this is basically my corner of the living room. So I've got my guitar on there, which keeps me entertained from time to time, although it doesn't really entertain anyone else. Side panel off the case, as any good computer technician knows, that's how you do it, with all the cables and bits hanging outside. For the painting area itself, generally I paint sort of almost on myself, as it were, or leaning on the keyboard tray. I don't actually paint on the paint station, but it's just a standard plastic GW paint station. I've seen on some of the other videos a few guys have got the older style, the wooden ones, which to be fair look a lot nicer than the new GW plastic ones. But I have that with the Citadel cutting mat. All of my main paints that I'm using for the particular project at the time at the back, with the brushes I have, I'm using the GW brushes and GW files as well. At the moment I've just finished painting up my Ghost Ark. Yes, Ghost Ark. One of my favourite bits of Battlefield kit at the minute. I think they're highly underrated for how powerful they are. I'm just literally finished painting up the guns. They all need a bit of highlighting. You can see these ones have had a bit of highlighting done, mithril silver, but the rest need to be done and attached. I would like to do the magnetised attachments, but I'm too lazy. We also have my current project at the minute that I'm building, which if I move that out of the way, you'll see is going to be it's going to be an Annihilation barge, stroke Catacomb command barge. So that's in the process of being built and primed. Some tools on the side, and then in the top drawer we have excess paints that are not being used at the time, some dice randomly, glue, LED headlamp because obviously that's essential, some blades, some knives, a bits box, and then for painting I have like just looking at a bit of tile which has been used as a palette, and then just some kitchen paper which I wet to use as a sort of temporary cheap wet palette. There's the rest of the bits for the command barge. Let's go with this camera. I've got Necron Lord to build, some Wraiths, they're the next project, a couple of flyers, and I think there's a squad of Immortals. There's going to be Immortals, some comic reference stuff at the bottom for my Marvel Encyclopedia. I'm a bit of a comic book nerd as well. For lighting, obviously I have the PCs there, which don't actually produce any light, although you wouldn't think of the way it glares out on the camera. For YouTube, I was watching The Weekend this morning for Beasts of War. Lighting, this horrible yellow light, which needs to be changed for some sort of proper desk lamp, because the lighting off it's yellow and horrendous. I have a halogen lamp here, but again it's quite a hot lamp. I need to change that for some LED lights with the same connector and hopefully get a better, clearer lighting effect. Anyway, that's my main setup at the minute. My actual models are all stored in the bedroom, which I'll cut to and just show what I've got there. Okay, and as we're back now to the second part of this in a way. This is in my bedroom. The corner I have here, we have where I store sort of like the board games. I've got Descent, Age of Mythology, Ruinbound, some Cthulhu games, Arkham Horror, Carcassonne, some add-on packs for that. And I've got some sort of the more random bits. There's Flock, a light bulb, some of the little bits for basing. I've got some random Space Marines here. The old box for Assault on Blackreach, although there's probably some orcs in there to be fair, and my dice and templates, my case, the old 40k rulebook, Hobbit game. I've never played that, not even opened it. Anyway, up here I have the rest of my Necron army, which is still obviously in the process of being built. A whole series of warriors. Oh, that's not going to focus. Probably not. I have all, I don't know if you can see it, but they're all like a blue tint to them. At the time I was making these with the snow bases, they were kind of going for a Game of Thrones White Walker effect. My Necron Lord, nice blue cloak, and a wobbly staff because Finecast doesn't do straight. And again, one I've just finished recently was my Cryptek in gold and silver and blue. I really enjoy painting this guy. I'm not the greatest painter in the world, but you know, it does okay for me. And then from when I started doing 40k a couple of years ago, when I sort of had a brief foray into it, as like most people, or a lot of people do, they start off with Space Marines. So up here I have my Ultramarine army. So I've got a few various bits, some painted, some not painted. I think the sheer size of the Land Raider terrified me at the time, so I don't know how well you can see that, it's quite dark. But yeah, so that's sort of a very rough model showcase and storage area for my hobby, and as you saw before, where I do my painting. So thanks very much for your time. Hope you enjoyed my first video. Thanks, bye.